The immigration industry says the stigma around migrant workers needs to be removed for Christchurch to reap the full benefits of innovation and expertise in the rebuild. Companies also need to read up on the rules to ensure they're not exploiting their workers. Gracie Fee has more.
There's a negative perception of migrant workers taking jobs from Christchurch workers, but immigration workers say that's not the case.
Unemployment in Christchurch is significantly lower than the national average because the people who can work in Christchurch are. What we're seeing migrants coming in and doing is the jobs that people can't fill. Like
specialised and experienced migrants. He says as long as migrants being accepted into the country is staged to meet the city's demands, there will be no downside. And with those arriving migrants, there's actually more employment demand being generated.
Specialist migrants, for example, stonemasonry was a lost art in Christchurch. We've got a lot of older buildings where we actually needed people to fix them, to strengthen them for potentially future earthquakes. And we're seeing jobs being created by experts coming in from places like Europe, where they've got plenty of earthquakes and plenty of old buildings.
They're in turn training New Zealanders to repair those buildings. More than 38,000 jobs were advertised in Canterbury on CTV.Co.NZ last year, an increase of 3% on 2012. The top 3 areas of greatest opportunity in Canterbury have been trades and services, which has almost doubled to more than 5,000 jobs, construction up almost 10% to 3,500, and information and communication technology at 3,600, down 1%. Immigration rules mean before anyone can be employed for those jobs, there has to be a proper check of New Zealanders before the migrants can apply. But once they are accepted, a lot are being exploited.
There are some companies that are trying to rot the system, if you like, to increase profits, because a lot of the companies are actually working on very low profit margins.
However, some companies unaware of the rules are breaking them unintentionally. They're seeing a lot of issues with people from Europe, the UK and South Africa, where they're being asked to do things they shouldn't have to do, or working long hours, including weekends.
Some of it's just simple mistakes being made. Sometimes we see people not being paid for the work they've been doing, where the employer's not understood the difference between employment and self-employment.
Part of his job is to help companies understand their obligations. Filipino workers are in a more vulnerable state where their situation is often bound before they arrive.
So they're dealing with companies that get the job offer, get the visa, everything's sort of, and also they're less willing to come forward or complain.
First Union is calling for companies that exploit migrant workers to be blacklisted by earthquake authorities like EQC. But Bell is concerned the companies making honest mistakes will suffer unnecessarily.
They can be blacklisted without realising what's happened. So I think a thorough investigation needs to take place first, because there are some companies that are making honest mistakes.
Gracie Fee, CTV News.